Hello, Mark Mazes. I am not a public speaker, um, somewhat reclusive. I'm even afraid to get on an airplane and fly across the country to be at this meeting, this conference. But with that said, why would I pursue this then? This represents 30 years of silence from an event that occurred to me, and I never came forward or shared it publicly because I was afraid that everyone would think I was crazy, and I was afraid. Um, 30 years ago, I had an event of contact from God. It's hard to even hear yourself say such a thing out loud publicly to people. Um, Now you know why I was afraid everyone would think I was crazy. um, but this occurred, and for me, it was wonderful. It was the greatest thing in my life. It changed my life. Um, I didn't understand it. I questioned it. I looked at it from every angle, trying to figure out how this could happen, why it happened to me. Um, I went to a psychiatrist at the time and told the psychiatrist either I'm having contact from God or I'm crazy. Please test me and figure out if I'm sane. Which he did for 3 days of ink blots and questions about voices and visions and things. And I popped out normal. No, they couldn't find anything wrong with me. So, uh, these events of extraordinary experience and encounter continued in various forms, and one is main event is the first encounter I had is entitled the Bow, and is in my book, and I made a video of it and explained, describing what happened. Um, Another was an encounter, a physical event with Jesus that occurred one time and was indescribable. It freaked me out, and yet it was wonderful. Um, it's enough to knock you off your feet. That's described in detail in the book. At the same time that these incredible events were occurring to me, I was handed a rare, ancient, handwritten Tibetan manuscript to read. It was unlike anything I had ever read before in my life. To this day, it goes beyond anything I've ever read, and I've read mostly everything, trying to figure out what all of this meant and go on this journey. I eventually had to hand write out an entire copy of that book for myself, and began to read other things as well from the main religions of the world, the various religions, spiritual lessons, teachers, adepts who have come before in our history, who stand out. And all of this together, the encounters with God, the messages that were coming through, an event with Jesus, this Tibetan book, which was ancient and wise and wonderful, the other readings I did, and all of it together, including my own effort and practice and growth that I was putting my heart into this, all of this together began to transform me. It was life-changing, but you don't wake up the next day a better person. You wake up the next day still yourself. And to grow and to learn and to become a better person, behave better, think better, feel better, all required work, discipline, and practice, and effort. Like learning to play, a master playing the violin. You don't become a great violin player, master, without years and years of practice, lessons, and putting your entire heart and will into it to master it. This is the same with anything in life. Everything takes that effort and practice. So all this continued on, and I think that contact from God is something that I can't keep to myself. It would be wrong of me to. It would be small of me to. I did keep it quiet for 30 years. It's pretty scary to come forward with something like that. But I think that it's important. The teachers, the spiritual teachers and shining adepts in our history, all of them, Jesus, Buddha, Moses, and on and on and on, Gandhi, and the many, many, many from every religion, have all been saying something. And they've been wanting something from us. They really weren't looking for followers, and they weren't just trying to make us feel good. What were they saying? What was the message? The message was transform ourselves. That we should try to become and walk around as our higher selves. And live in a world of positive emotions like courage and sacrifice and generosity, kindness, love, and master these emotions within ourselves individually so that we aren't riddled with fear and vanity and ego and hate and anger. And when we look at the history of the emotional makeup of these ancient heroes of our Bibles and our religions, they had mastered themselves. They had transformed themselves. They lived in a world within themselves of just that. Selflessness, generosity, kindness, love, courage. If they were to have walked around all day in fear and hate and anger and vanity and ego and selfishness, they wouldn't have been who they were. This is something that they taught. The religions of the world teach each of us behaving in right ways, right thinking, right feeling, right acting, right speaking, right being. So after years of practicing and learning these lessons and falling down and getting back up and getting knocked down and getting back up and failing and failing and failing over and over again, a successful step was taken here and there. And occasionally I did better and better, and lessons were learned, wisdoms were gathered, and this is the walking the path of all the teachers that have come before on earth who represent God's circle of adept teachers. They've left their lives lessons. They've left their ladders to climb. They've left their life stories echoing down to us through history. And more than that, I was encountering living God, alive, present in the world, present in my life, in my face, unavoidably so, and had a physical event with Jesus, so I know that he's alive and a present being, interacted with me, interacting in the world, therefore with everyone. All of this together is a transformative, life-changing event for me, and I think anyone who walks the lessons given to us by all of these teachers, Jesus, Buddha, Moses, Gandhi, Elijah, Martin Luther King, and on and on and on and on, from every religion and every faith and every spiritual vein of teaching. And more than that, in a larger way, the living universe, guiding us, synchronistically giving us what we need every moment, and helping us along, is the message that I have set down in this book. It's the life story of me, how it unfolded, what I learned, mistakes I made, and if like any practice, if people were to choose individually, one at a time, to transform themselves and begin the practices of right walking, right thinking, right feeling, right being, delving into and being their higher self, expressing their soul in the world, then this is transformative one person at a time, which has always been the teaching. And then collectively, all of these individual transform, changing events add up, and collectively, mankind is changed, transformed. So that's my message, and thank you.